Of course, the internet and the technology and these things has taken a lot of these or of this type of enjoyment being in a poetry
That's
session.
right.
How to bring this back?
Well, first of all, that's a very good question, Marwa, and I would like to confirm that it is true that the materialism of modern life, okay, the rhythm of life is actually very fast now.
Very.
And some people do not actually have much time for poetry, to sit and enjoy it and think of the figures of speech in poetry. But yet still, in a way or another, poetry has its own people. Those who enjoy poetry and who love it, it's these people are really there, okay. And there are some poetry sessions. A very good example of this is your episode now.
Yeah.
All right. Is that why are you having an episode about poetry? Because it's about enjoyment. It's about fun. It's about looking at the beautiful aspect of language use. Okay. So it's there. It is true that it's a little bit decreasing due to the rhythm of life, and it is true that people are becoming less romantic. Right. If you watch the movies of today, you will find that people do not actually believe a lot in abstract values as they did in the past. Okay, they are running after the luxury of life and real things they can touch in their hands. All right, but still poetry is there. It is to be enjoyed by people. All right, there are poets everywhere, and they are writing, and they're expressing their feelings, and there are people who read what they write and share them with their ideas and emotions and things like that.
You think that the poetry books are really interesting, and people buy them more than novels? Or
definitely, actually, I'm into the process of publishing my first poetry book, actually.
Great.
Both in Arabic and in English, right? So how to bring this back? I mean, is the media has a role here. Right, programs like yours, for example, they play a very important role in enlightening people and giving the impression to people that poetry is there, it's enjoyable, it's interesting, enjoy it, feel it, look at the deep meanings that are there in poetry. And poetry will always be there. You know why, Marwa? Because poetry is the language of the heart, and as long as the heart is beating, this language is there.
Yeah.
It is true that not all people can write poetry, all right? But a lot of people can enjoy poetry and they feel it, all right? And as I'm telling you, when I took some of my writings to people, they are not poets, all right? But they say, wow, that's interesting, we like that.
We enjoy it.
We enjoy it, and I'm sure now, when I was actually saying the song, it has, some impact on your ears.
Yeah.
Because simply poetry and the rhythm it has, and the kind of intonation actually that is there, it plays with people's feelings and emotions. And whatever happens to people, emotions are there. Maybe they are a little bit, buried inside, a little bit deep inside. But as long as, you revive them, every now and then, they will be, alive again. Okay? And they will enjoy poetry for sure.
Yeah, good one. We're having another piece of poetry.
Yeah, this is actually confirms your question that you asked before.
Yeah.
Do you, as a college educator, as a teacher in the university, do you sometimes write for your students? Yeah, sometimes I do that. And the reason I do this is sometimes I find my students actually suffering with some grammatical rules. So what I do is I have to use.
It's really difficult, actually. If you don't like the language, you will find it really harsh to learn the grammar. Because I liked English since I was a young child.
Yeah.
The grammar was really easy for me. It was like a piece of cake of the English. But when I started to learn French, it was like putting a heavy stone on my head. It was really difficult for me to learn the grammar.
Yes.
And till now, I find it really difficult for me reading French or something. So if you don't like the language, if you're not familiar with it, it's really difficult.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. But also, when you write poetry for your students, you motivate them. You show them that actually language is not just spending hours and hours of studying and memorizing. Language is a beautiful thing that you should enjoy. There is a beautiful aspect of the language that you should enjoy. You can sing in English. You can write poetry in English. You can write a short story in English. You can say din, 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 it in English. Why not? Can we really do that, sir? Yeah, you can do that. And that's even you can do this in grammar. Can you imagine sometimes that you can even help your students to sing grammar? My God, if when the idea actually hit my head at the beginning, I said, I'm going to let my students sing grammar. Yeah, your students can sing grammar if you play a little bit with their motivation, because sometimes students come to the classroom when they're not motivated.
Yeah.
Then becomes your job as a teacher to try to motivate the students.
Not only to teach them, but to motivate them.
To motivate them first, and build trust between you and your students. Some teachers actually, they put a very big, thick wall between them and their students, and then they come at the end and ask, my students don't like me. Well, your students don't like me because you're not to be liked.
Yeah.
Right? You have not actually built trust between you and your students. Okay? So this is how it goes. You should motivate the students first.
Yeah.
Okay? Come closer to them. Feel their problems, even if they're weak in English, okay? If they're not good at English, for example, come closer to them. Feel their weakness. Try to help them. If they feel that you really want to help them, they will like you. And when they like you, that's it. There are teachers in your life, Marwa, and in my life, and you can never forget.
I can never forget. True.
If you are 70 years old, 80 years old, they're there.
I like them. I remember them up to now because I enjoyed the way they were teaching us, and I really felt that they are interested in us.
Yes.
They liked us. They wanted to.
They really wanted to help.
True.
They really wanted to impact your life.
Yeah.
It's not just getting inside a classroom and throwing some information and leaving and that's it. No. It's much more than this, and actually this writing, the tenses song, proves what I say.
Yeah.
So in this song, actually, I imagine
to start the
third one.
Poetry. Yes, please. We want it on air.
Yeah.
It's about tenses.
Tenses. Actually, in this poem, Marwa,
simple present and the past simple.
I imagine that the tenses are speaking about themselves.
Yes.
So, like for example, I am the present simple. You are the past simple. And for example, the director.
I'm the future all the time.
You're always the future. I'm the past anyway.
I'm always the future.
Always the future. And the director, for example, Mr. Fahd, is the present perfect.
Yeah.
And everyone.
Of course, he's the present perfect.
Everyone is talking about himself. So this is how it goes.
Okay, I guess
just wait a second.
Going to start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now the present simple is talking about himself.
Yeah.
Okay. I am the present simple, someone who is simple. Without me the sentence will tremble. I am the first verb form. My friend is the past symbol. A friend that is humble. Without him the sentence is in trouble. He is the second verb form. My uncle is the present perfect. He lives next to me. He is so very direct. Have or has plus the PP. My dad is the simple future. That's you, Marwa.
Yeah, thank
My
you.
dad is the simple future. He is a very nice creature and has a very friendly nature. Well plus the base verb form.
Interesting. Really interesting.
And this is how it goes. Of course, the students will not memorize it, at once. It takes time. But if you give it, piece by piece.
Or it's enough even to remember the idea. Just the idea of it's going to stick there because...
Yeah, they will remember the rules.
Yeah.
Why? Because actually the simple future has a very friendly nature.
Yeah, well...
It's very friendly.
Yeah.
Right, the present perfect is have or has plus the PP.
Plus the PP.
So the rules are included in poetry in this case. And believe me, it worked out. It really worked out with me in some classes. Okay. Of course, it doesn't work out all the time. Because again, you have to
with all people, because you have different kinds of students.
Yeah, you have also different kinds of proficiency levels.
Yes.
Don't forget that.
Yeah.
You don't throw a piece of poetry to students who are just suffering with the basics of English.
Yeah.
They know he or she.
But in this way, I mean, students who are suffering the basics of English, and you give them such a poetry, it's gonna ease it for them.
Definitely.
They will find that they are experts. Now we're having poetry in English, and it's really simple. Gives them the information in a simple way.
That's just the fact that we're able to sing in English is an achievement in itself.
Yeah.
All right, we are able to sing in English. Just look at that. Who can do that? I mean, actually, some of my students used, to brag with other classes. We sing in English. Can you do that? The teacher gave us poetry to sing, and we do this in class. Come on, let's do it, okay? All right. And some students leave class when they're doing it. All right. Of course, some teachers are so much frightened to do that because they think when they do this, they lose control, okay, on the class. So we have to be very careful as a teacher. All right. Some students will think that it's, an easy thing, just, dancing and playing a game inside a classroom.
It's not going to be all the time.
It's not all the time.
I remember when I was a little student at school, we used to have songs, but when we finish the lesson, we used to have songs that we really enjoyed it.
It's some kind of reward,
That's it.
Some kind of enjoyment of the
really
language.
wanted to be or to impress our teachers so that we can have like 10 minutes